Welcome everyone to this tutorial. It is a tutorial showing how to paint portraits and figures in Photoshop. You'll see I've got two layers, background copy, which I've copied from the background and deleted the background layer to get rid of the lock because it's locked by default. You can manually lock it later, which I've turned into the drawing guide. You can see in the top right, renamed it Drawing Guide and Painting. My painting layer will be my final painting, and the drawing guide will sit on the top as a guide. Now I've locked it by pressing the little lock icon to stop myself from accidentally painting on that semi-transparent layer. Now I'm importing, at the moment you can see on the screen I've got 6 photos which I've taken years ago. I think they're digital. They might have even been scanned in from film. Images, just sort of stock images that I've kept over the years, and that'll fill the white space. I've done that in my previous tutorial. I'll colour pick from just for my initial colours, I'll colour pick from these images, and as I fill in my image, those photos will go away and I'll begin sort of creating my own colours. But just to get those basic colours in, I use these photos and to block out that white, create some noise in the background. You'll see now I'll merge all the visible layers with a little eye icon in each of the boxes to create all those photos into one layer, which I've called painting now. I've merged it with my painting layer. You can make the layer type multiply, which you can see now on screen. You can't see the white. You can see the white now, and that's because I've just put it back to normal, the layer type, not multiply, because if I get rid of all the white, it's sort of, there's lots of sort of similarities between the line drawing and the background, which makes it a bit hard to see the detail of the line drawing. So I prefer to just drop the opacity down to say 70–65%, which you can see right now, so I can see the line drawing clearly and I know where to paint, because the active layer, which is highlighted in blue, the painting layer, is what I'll be painting on. Now I'm marking around, having a look at brush sizes. I've made the opacity 70%, you can see that. I'm filling it in now with a light sort of pink salmon kind of colour. You'll see the brush strokes kind of tapering out at the end. That's because the brush characteristics have been set that way. I'll change that very shortly. You just expand the brushes menu to the expanded view, and you go into shape dynamics, turn the pen control off, or turn the control off so it's not using pen pressure to change the shape of your brush. And you see that now I'm doing a nice opaque circular kind of value. Opacity is 100%. I'm just dropping that right in there, getting skin tones and everything. I've pretty much got rid of most of the photo now, so my colour picking is just from my own imagination and from reference that I'm using. So I'll just drop in basic colours, and as I do that, as it becomes more apparent what the final product will look like, I will use my drawing. That white layer that keeps popping up will disappear, and I'll just be painting sort of more naturally. Now I'm just putting in a background. The original background was just sort of plain white wall with some light tones. So I'm just going to put some colour and movement in there. This gives me opportunity to use lots of brush strokes, and I've used 2 cool colours. That green and purple are on the cool end of the colour spectrum. The colour wheel, they've got a kind of triadic colour relationship, so it's not complementary or anything, but they do have a relationship, which is not too obscure. and you can see I'm sort of lightening it up, just getting some direction in there. And that's sort of what the background's going to look like, but not totally. I will go back into it and refine small details like the big circle you can see at the bottom right corner underneath the elbow and to the right. That's a brush stroke that I've just put down, an more opaque brush stroke that's just hit there, and I've got to sort of soften that out so it's not so apparent. That's something that I'll do later. I'm just kind of trying to keep the painting even. By doing that, you can sort of maintain your expression and sort of how you execute your colour values and things like that. If the painting's even, you're not just committing to one little segment of the painting and then going, you sort of get this uniformity, like I guess impressionist painting, pulling colours from different areas into areas you wouldn't expect. Like if you had a flat landscape with sand on the bottom of the horizon and sky on the top, you'd have blues in the sand and the yellows in the sand and yellows in the blue in the sky. This is by no means impressionistic. The brush strokes are too small, but that's the idea, is to keep your painting uniform, somewhat uniform. And you'll see I'm refining details here, dropping the shadows in. You'll see the shadow under the right leg, and those shadows in the right leg underneath the hand and the elbow, they sort of wrap around the leg. Instead of doing vertical strokes, they're sort of horizontal, and by using those brush strokes it sort of defines the form, the three-dimensionality, that and shadows. So brush strokes are very important. As small and refined as this painting is, there is thousands of marks, literally thousands, especially in the background, which is very quick and impressive. You see the values in the hand. Kind of opaque as we get those basic values in and just refine them with small details. Hands always have a lot of sort of obscure kind of details and limitations, you know, like around the knuckles and stuff like that, which you've got to, depending on what kind of painting you're after, you tend to refine that. See, I'm dropping a purple in there now. It's reflected light from the background, just in the glossier, shinier part of the skin. Now I've put that purple in there, and it just gives a continuity and a relationship between the background and the foreground of the subject. So I'm putting details in the face now. The face you can tend to over refine, and that's what I do a lot of the time. I've got to pick a point where I've received most of the details and applied them, and I'm happy without making and sort of highlighting too many subtle details. Just see the purple in the hair where I've just done real wild kind of brush strokes in the background. That's fine, and those colours might shine through in the end. There'll be a deeper black in the hair. I'm doing that now. I see sort of strands of hair in the line drawing. So I'm doing the background again now, just sort of lightening it up and making it a bit more subtle, so I'm not having to work back into the background once I put that hair down, because they're fine little lines. They're a real small 20 pixel line brush, and that's a 10,000 pixel size image, so it's a small brush and opacity about say 20, so it's, yeah, you get that hint of hair. It's a good little trick. And I've worked more black in there. So that's the hair done. Now I'm doing real fine details, little reflections in the eyes and highlights that you sort of leave to last. If you commit to them too soon, you can get them wrong. And at this point, I'm pretty happy with it. I'm almost finished. It's just a pedantic kind of things that I'm doing now. Little details that you may have missed, and that's pretty much the painting finished. I hope you enjoyed watching it, or at least learn something small. That's my methodology at the moment. I'll continue to refine that. Thank you very much for watching my tutorial, and I hope to see you next time.